All right, so today's video, we are going to be back with another quick play warrior video where basically we have players who play a lot more quick play than ranked. We guess what I think their rank could be. We watch two games. One's their quick play game. One is one of their placement matches. Then we guess the rank. Today we have someone that has been in the chat for a long time, Meme Machine. So I will admit, I do know what Meme Machine's Overwatch 1 rank was. So I don't know what has shifted since then, but I imagine the rank has shifted quite a bit since then. So we will see what happens with this one. I am the definition of a quick play warrior. 1,633 hours in quick play and 51 hours in comp, mostly open queue. With no placements since Season 5, since 6v6 dropped in quick play, that's all I've played. As a tank enjoyer, I've never loved 5v5. Adjusting from 6v6 has been rough, and let's be honest, if you lose, it is always your fault, and if you win, it never is. I was nervous queuing up. I didn't want to subject my friends to my placements, so I solo queued everything in one sit-in. I stayed in voice and typed, "Hey, I'm in voice chat, making occasional calls. Join if you can, no pressure." Surprisingly, especially in lower ranks, people joined and appreciated the calls. It was very wholesome Overwatch, mostly. So, here we are on the quick play one, and Meme says, I needed a solo quick play warm-up before comp and was served a delightful Coliseo. There are a couple special moments, I promise. So, all right, we'll start with that one, and then we'll move on to the next ones after. Sigma's actually, I love Sigma on this map. It's just gonna be frustrating if you get stuck in the middle and you can't move fast, so we'll see. All right, here we go. Yeah, I mean, you're fine there. Like, engaging the Winston is, like, totally fine in that aspect. So, let me see. Everything's so good here. Peeling back. Yeah, pretty clean. Not really many people you can go for on their... Yeah, so far, fine. Yeah, I mean, everything's fine so far. Ooh, that was close. The splash damage. I guess I can start already. Like, you left your shield up for too long there. Just remember that, like, I know you're trying to block the line of sight, but you also need to find those windows of opportunity to drop your shield. Whenever I block line of sight, is to do two things. It's either A, to block off the heals, or B, to block off a little bit of damage. Just remember that when you're using your shield kind of in the middle of the open like that initially, that, like, you have little time-ins to be able to basically reset that. Just a little bit of a note to remember. It's not like a huge difference here, right? Like, your shield's fine, but it's a good habit to get into. Yep, rock. Nice play. So, yep, and like this is fine. Blocking out the soldier shield. I think even going for the soldier's fine. Remember, chat, like, when they're playing like a Wrecking Ball comp or whatever, you don't really have to, I mean, even if it's like any tank, you don't have to just sit there and be with your team. So that's kind of the correct play of just like clearing out the problems that you have to deal with right there. If your teammates aren't getting rolled from anything else, like taking care of that's the play. So, taking away the map control, the space. Obviously, shield management was a little bit off, but you're fine there. Yep, rock again. Rocks have been solid. Solid rocks. Like, it's been good. I want to point out with the shield management. When your shield is regenning, remember, when you use it again, it puts that cooldown back on track. I get what you're trying to go for of like, okay, try to block off the stuff, but I think you're fine there. Even if they were to honor grenade you or sleep you, like I think you'll end up being fine regardless. The little timings like that is like the make or break on Sigma, where shield management's key. Obviously, shield management gets a little bit easier once you get your first perk, if you choose to get that one, which you should. But yeah. As you can see now, when you're trying to see how that became a problem later, how when you went to try to escape, you had no shield. Like, your shield never fully regen, so it was a harder escape. Yep. You know what to do with those mines if you so choose to. Just a little bit of a tip, chat. You can clear the mines with your shield. So what you do is you just sit here and you right-click forward on the mines, and it will clear a lot of them. I do that in situations where I know I don't need the shield. So an example, actually, this is a perfect one for this opportunity, is let's say they have a window. I'm probably not going to use it on the mines if I don't have to, because like you're going to need that for windows. So sometimes I do it a lot when I clear those mines, but you also need to take some things into account. Just keep that in mind. So far, so good. Melee combos. Yep, you're hitting your shots. Everything's looking good there. Sleepy Demon thinks it's tier 1, though. You're doing the right thing here. You're taking away map control. The reason why this is the right thing, Chad, is you need to deny the space from everybody else, so you don't worry about the Wrecking Ball. Here's the real thing. If the Wrecking Ball goes and solos your whole team in the back line, that's not your fault. Right? You're denying the space from everybody else, which is what you've done. So, like, you're doing everything right here. Aim's looking pretty good, actually. In the shots. Get Brock again. Popping off. Look at that. Based off of what I know from memes Overwatch 1 rank, I think it's definitely higher. I could be wrong. That's going to be a good ult. You might even get Tracer in that if the Tracer didn't. Yeah, I was going to say. Nice play. Wait, you got the Wrecking Ball in that, too? Oh, yeah, I definitely saw you get the Wrecking Ball. Nice job. Good ult. Good, clean. One of the more important things that you're doing is you're taking that map control that we've mentioned a lot. You're not letting them get space, and I think that really can help your team in general. They're flanking your team through that side. Okay. Wrecking Ball is tough to do that. Oh, there you go. Gonna have to put a shield up, but it's gonna break, yeah. Back to shield management. Remember when you left it up for a little bit longer when nothing was happening with that angle? I think the #1 thing you're running into, meme, is like you're just... with your shield management is you sometimes use it when you think you need to block off an angle, but there's nothing to block off, so they end up taking a little bit of extra chip damage. And that extra chip damage is enough to grind your shield later now. So that's why, like, sometimes you're running out of shield. It's because you're basically putting your shield up at moments where you don't need it, and that 300 damage is actually enough to make it so it's not as impactful later on. So just something to keep like, in mind when you're playing. Now we got meme on D.Va. What in the world is happening here? This is something I didn't think I'd see. All right. Oh, boy. See how the D.Va looks? All right. Fine so far. Yeah, okay, yep. So, as somebody who used to do this all the time, do not peel for a Wrecking Ball. Most of the time, the Wrecking Ball is going to end up surviving that the majority of the time, and all it's going to do is create space and pressure on the backline of your team from here. So technically, one of the better things you can do is actually go forward here with your team to help with your backline pressure. So you said your supports are getting upset that, like, the Wrecking Ball was there. Okay, this, I guess, is a good time to segue for a second here, just to let supports know on this one. Wrecking Ball is really hard to peel for sometimes. Remember that Wrecking Ball's whole idea is the space create, and that space creation comes with distraction of the other tank. You need to also let your other tank be able to create that same space, because you know how, like, you're being annoyed by their tank doing that? When you have your tank go back all the time to help with, like, a hero like Wrecking Ball, your tank's not doing that to their backline. If you're worried that the Wrecking Ball is always in your backline getting kills and you're making everybody else come back to help, imagine the other team's point of view. The other tank will always have constant pressure, and it's always going to be like, people are going to assume it's like a tank diff, when in reality, you're basically taking away the resources elsewhere that the tank needs to do to be able to create the space that's required. Granted, you do have a pretty big lead, so you can get away with that a little bit. So, it worked, too. You got the Wrecking Ball. But again, the better the Wrecking Balls get, the less that's going to happen. Like, you're going to be able to get those kills. But it worked, so, hey, hindsight's hindsight. He was doing fine so far, outside of that one thing I was talking about. MDK, thanks for the 16 months of the Prime sub. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, you were just randomly spamming your DM, so you lost your DM timing. That's it. Better. You can ult this if you want. I would ult over the top, yep. Reason why you ult over the top is because they're going to have to kind of go all over the place on the map. The easiest amount of cover is right here on the low ground where they're going to be at, so you pop it up on the high ground so they don't know where it is, and you get a kill. So that was good also. Flying in. I do like the backline pressure here. Yep. And see, like, even here where you're getting rolled, this is exactly what I'm talking about, where, like, you've pulled pressure away from your team, and, you know, your team had an opportunity to pick up a kill or two. I mean, they still have an opportunity to pick up a kill or two, so that's why you do this type of backline pressure. Obviously, you ideally want to get out there, and I think one of the reasons why you lost your suit was because you flew in there and started blasting. Just remember that, like, your flight cooldown is very important to use to get out, not necessarily get into their team unless you time it with the backline pressure at the exact same time. With the Roadhog being able to hook you, you always want to have your ability to fly away after the hog hooks you, rather than, like, basically use your flight and then get, like, well, you know, when they hook you and you have to, like, basically get out and, like, right-click and do all that? Well, if you just end up getting hooked and fly away, it's a lot better. So, keep your team alive here. Everything seems... You got to get up there and help here, yep. Recognizing the Roadhog there, you can hear the hog for a while. I want to note something here for you on perk selection. I'm starting to stray away from the perk that you got, the second one. They kind of fixed it recently with the rocket, so it doesn't affect that as much. I find that it's also comp-based. So in a situation like this, I look at Roadhog, I look at Cassidy, I look at Lucio, Bap, and Mei, right? This is a comp that you could actually take the other perk with to give yourself a little bit more like overshield, because a lot of that overshield comes from, not the overshield, like the, you know how like you can like regen your shields quicker? That comes from basically DMing, and when you have a lot of heroes that you can DM, that's actually a really good viable perk option. The only hero you would probably use that for is like a Lucio speed boosting away at like low HP, or a Mei that just used Ice Block. Either or is fine. I don't mind the D.Va here, which I mean someone predicted. Very nice of the Roadhog to give you a free kill right there. I'm sure the Bat probably used their lamp assuming that you were going to get the kill. Excellent play there by the Hog. Love to see it. Always being helpful, you know. Good job there. Nice kills. Nice try here. Okay. Good first map here. I mean, you played fairly well. Obviously, you have a lot of your stuff is just like cooldown management issues, but I gotta admit, I honestly think like, and it's gonna be crazy me saying this, I think Meme's somewhere in plat right now, which is crazy because like knowing where Meme was in Overwatch 1, this is definitely not like bronze or silver. That's where Meme I think initially was. What I'm saying is like I actually think we're probably in that plat range right now. The mechanics were actually solid. You made some really good plays. Now it's about, can you kind of keep that going throughout, like you said. I'm gonna start with like a plat 3. Kind of keep myself in the middle on that one, and we'll see where we go next on the next map. Now we have the ranked match description. This one says, my first 9 placements were pretty straightforward. Proper easy, that's what he says. The last one, though, was a challenge. Someone voted Oasis. Why? When we could have had Eichenwald. I'm notoriously bad at Koth or Control because I dislike the mode, but I try. This was also my first taste of toxicity, aimed squarely at me by our vendetta. They were mad about D.Va, even though I'd already swapped to Sigma. D.Va was clearly not it into that comp. After the round 1, they complained they had to tank and DPS because Sigma/D.Va is weak versus melee into Vendetta Doom. Oh, well, Sigma would be really good against that. But anyway, I asked how I could help more. They said nothing, so I stayed Sigma and did my thing. You notice my tank choices mirror a certain washed former rank 2 streamer. Oh, I didn't even know this. And he says, I have benign tremors. If my aim looks shaky, that's why. Honestly, your aim looked great last game, to be honest with you. I don't know who he's talking about with the streamer, but you know, maybe he's, I don't know who he watches. So D.Va on, I will admit, I don't like picking D.Va on University. All right, here we go. One thing I want to point out to you, Meme, try not to overcommit until it's time to overcommit. Don't fly into their team like that, because what's going to happen is you have no escape. When you do fly into the team is when the pick is guaranteed. Don't just fly in to fly in, because this is what will happen. You'll get D-Mac. Also, if you want my honest take, I don't like the matchup of D.Va versus Doom. Because I'm going to explain why. The reason why I don't like the matchup of D.Va versus Doom is, one, it's again hard to peel for Doom. So this is why I actually prefer Sigma in this situation rather than D.Va. But on top of that, you also can't predict what your teammates are going to do to Doomfist in the backline. And what I mean by that is you can go into their backline to trade, right? But if your teammates charge a Doomfist, there's a very high chance that your Doomfist is actually going to punch back and really quickly and then just get D-Mac. Doom is one of the heroes that actually has the ability to both heal and be aggressive. So if your teammates shoot into the Doom punch, which I actually say is probably worse than breaking a Zarya bubble, you can get peeled on really easily, and this is exactly what's happening to you. You can go in their backline, but you can't really survive it, because unless you have another teammate of yours, which actually technically your Vendetta should be in the backline with you getting free kills, which so far your Vendetta isn't, the hero selection here is going to be rough because of that. Anyway. So basically you can get peeled on a lot more like this. So, did you always shoot Doom block? Not recommended. Situational, of course, but not recommended. Remember to save your rock for important moments. So anyway, like the Juno, that's an ambitious one. That's a good one. Yep, rock. Okay. Yep, so this is the correct play by Meme here, but also was like a little bit delayed on this one. The reason why you put your shield there is you can block the damage on the outside of the Doom one. So what I tried, so you know how there's a center to the Doom ult? As long as you put your shield on one side, it will actually block the damage to your teammates, but you needed to put it on the right side, right time, and etc. Just a little bit of a note. So. Against Doom, I don't go hot much. Just a close play. I mean, so far, like, this is a hard one to say because you pretty much had a peel for the Doom, even though you don't want to. So I don't know. It's like so far it was a rough start. Now it's kind of settling. Okay, I'm waiting for this play to happen. Yeah, so right here, you did the right play until you didn't. I'm not worried about the ultimate. I'm not worried about anything like this. What I'm worried about is recognizing what they have. If you know they're going to have these ultimates, you really have two options. You get really hyper aggressive with your ultimates and try to force out their ultimates in their spawn, or you back away and you just slow play it and hope for the best. In this situation, if you're tracking ultimates and trying to understand what they have, I don't like the idea of going up there aggressively and knowing they're going to just basically Juno ult me and bob me. Never mind a Vendetta ultimate, right? You're already on your back foot here, so you need to rely on like a couple of off angles for an early pick. That is how you're going to win these team fights. If you play really aggressive here in this situation, you need to play hyper aggro. Otherwise, you're going to get rolled. So what you would normally do is you would poke as much as you can, but the moment that they can even remotely, and I mean remotely, pop an ability on you, you need to get out and just back away. You need to be willing and ready to make an aggressive play with your ultimate, or don't make an aggressive play at all. All right. That's called your HP was low and you hit your eat button. Been there, done that. What rank is this? I have to guess. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one because you started off, obviously, like, and I can look at the numbers here. It didn't start off super strong because you were on D.Va, right, which I was talking about. And this goes back to just map selection meme. University is basically how you would play, like, a second point King's Row. How often do you find yourself on D.Va on second point King's Row unless you're in an OWCS match? So the point I'm making is, on University, I would not recommend D.Va there as much. This goes back to your team's charging Doom a lot. Okay, so let's talk about this. It's really hard to be able to go this side against the comp they have. Look at your team comp. And maybe this can be helpful for people understanding like how to work with like this type of like comps that you have. We have an Ana, a Wu Yang, a Vendetta, and a Cassidy. The only hero here who's going to like playing close range like this is the Vendetta. Your Vendetta is trying to swing at them with a crit and aim it at this chair. Probably not going to go well, right? So the point I'm making here, you need to like almost play this way, because you get no benefit from this high ground that you would normally do, right? You're going to end up defaulting. Now, I like battling for this high ground, but you need to understand their comp. You don't have the mobility with this comp to be able to get everybody set up there. Like, even if you get this and you start to take map control, your Ana is going to be playing on edge because you're always worried about getting doom-fisted off the map or, like, getting pressured. So you actually kind of want to open up the space a little bit more and kind of, like, lead it this way. It feels bad to play like this on this map, but I tell you, it actually is really good. It took me a while to get used to it, but you'll see in pro play, you have two different styles. One team usually takes up here, and one team usually takes this way. Generally, the team that needs a little bit more open space and time to get kills goes this way. A team a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more like, needs to set up players and has the mobility will probably go this way. So look at this. We have a Juno. You're already at a disadvantage because of the speed ring, getting to their spots. You have a Doomfist who's aggressive. You have a Moira. You have an Ashe. You're not going to be able to get this high ground. Yeah, I know that your Vendetta also was probably, telling you do this, do that. But this kind of goes back to, if you haven't noticed, a lot of players who have probably never even played tank will tell you how to play tank. You got to just be like, dude, listen, I get it. I can try to help more, but I'm not going into a small hallway with their comp. Anyway, it's okay to I want to also reiterate, even if you've never played tank, it's okay to be like, hey, I see this is happening. What are some things that we can do, right? It's more along the lines of when, everybody tells you to swap over and over again and just blames the tank the whole time. But then, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, maybe I'm missing something. What should we do? And they go, I don't know. I don't play tank. It's like, then why are you... Never mind. All right, playing here initially is fine. This goes back to what I talked about. Poke out, back away. That you're playing Sigma, that's your play style. Be careful of doing the rock like you just did right there because of that exact reason. Some Dooms are really good at that reaction of just punching you right away. At the same time, you could argue against the punch out and like maybe get rid of their block. So, yeah. Just click your name, it will show you how long you've been following. Okay. Same concept. Spam until you just. I'll tell you when to back up. Now, back up now. Keep going, spam main, spam the same thing, keep backing up now. Now back up, now back up. Because if you stay up there for too long, your teammates are gonna die. Like, you're doing the correct play, just so you know. There's no way you would be able to survive that against what they have. Also, like, just to make sure, by the way, too, it wasn't the Vendetta that was telling you that, right? Because your Vendetta's play style is like way too all in, and like the death count makes sense for that. Like that, they're like way too all in right now. Huge ults. Yep, Rock. Good play, clean, nice job. And then, by the way, notice how you're not sitting there battling a Doomfist directly in front of you. This is what I mean. You went and made an aggressive play. That's what I'm talking about. That was very well played. Nice try on the rock there. That was fine. Yeah, I mean, as Vendetta, you will end up having a higher death count at times. Yeah. Even cap the point like a real team player. I love it. Perk-wise, I'm okay with this. Truthfully, chat, I opt for the, nice play. I opt more for the flow one, but that's because I can make some really cool plays. There's nothing wrong with the punch one. The punch one is a totally fine play here. A little bit of a note meme. If you really want to, like, have fun there, you can melee the Bob off the point, just so you guarantee you get the point in case they don't touch in time. Obviously they did, but like when you have the melee stored up, don't be afraid to just launch a quick melee at the Bob. It will send the Bob off the point, and that puts even more pressure on them. So this is where the flow perk would be nice on this part of the map, but like you don't need it. Remember, charging Doom is it's always an interesting choice. Like there's no like it's hard to call. Thankfully the Doom didn't get out and just fed in, so. Oh, and the flow punch, yeah, that could be fun. Right idea here again. So. Meme can explain to you the aim in chat. He talked about it in the thing. There you go. Yep, Rock, nice play. Yeah, you're doing everything fine here. All right, looks like you got the Doom to swap off to Sigma, so that's a victory. Now you can play your style. That eat is very ambitious. Get Rock. Spam the right. So far, so good. Get Rock. Playing well. Yeah, Sigma's looking good. I mean, honestly, meme, solid gameplay. You're doing everything right here. You're playing close. You're preventing them from getting the map control. And remember, the only thing to warn you of here is the backup still. Like, yeah, actually, I would all in my ultimates here. I think you can win off your ults. Yeah, I think this is the correct play. I think you send it. Send it. Just send it. Yeah, I know you're worried about the point, but like, they can go to the, yeah, there you go. The point I'm making here is they can go to the point all day long. If they have nobody alive on their team except for one person, you'll win the game anyway. So good job, good recovery, good score line, good everything. Everything kind of worked out. So very good play. I'll start off with the first part here. Yeah, definitely need to work on your decision making with like where you're going on the map. Understand the team comp you're going against. Even if like you're trying to appease your Vendetta with that one, you're gonna know better in the sense of like you just can't go into a small hallway against a Doomfist comp with a bunch of mobility. Same thing with like your shield management, things like that. Really pay attention to that. Stop overcommitting into like their team, things like that, like when you were on D.Va. But overall, very solid gameplay. I kind of gave you everything kind of in real time, so you know most of the summary of that one. So now it goes on to the next rank one. This is an interesting one because, like I said, the meme that I used to know with it was like back in like bronze, right? For this one, I'm gonna be ambitious. I'm gonna go plat 1 with the option of there being diamond, and then also if you kept playing, you would definitely climb with these mechanics. I think plat 1 is a safe spot. It could be lower, it could be higher, but I'm putting myself kind of in the middle of where I think it could be, and we'll see what happens, all right? After looking here, the rank is going to be Diamond 2. So there you go. See? Easy. Exactly what I said. I went with Plat 1, with the opportunity of being higher. Diamond 2, almost masters. Even better than I expected. Good job, meme. 9 and 1, yeah, that's good placement. So well placed and good play. I think if you keep it up, you'll probably do there. But knowing meme, that will probably be the last time he plays ranked for me. Nice job, meme. We love to see it. We love to see it. And obviously, if you keep playing ranked, you will climb. You got this. You absolutely got this. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTubes if you haven't. Leave a comment. All of it helps. You want to submit something like this? My Discord's where to do that. Pretty much for all my stuff, my Discord's where you start. Outside of that, if you want to watch more of these quick play warrior videos, we have a few of them now. See a box. Give it a watch. They're good. With that being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.